Hey guys, so this is the second part of our lesson, and I'm going to be pausing the video and giving you some time to think and letting you answer the questions yourself. I am going to go ahead and read the text. This one is called, this is a we do, so you're going to be helping me out and you're going to be answering those questions to yourself as you listen, and then I'll go over the correct answers. But it's called If Only This Were Real. It says, paragraph 1, Hoshni stared at the clock over the panel in the spaceship. The school day was almost over, and she couldn't wait to meet with her friend Jerry. Their newly created visual game awaited them on Deck C. Incredibly exciting, the game made space-time seem to pass much faster. At least the new teacher, Vox 23, was more interesting than the last class, A Instructional Robot. Soon it completed the lesson. Then it announced what it always said. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have another lovely day. Hoshni glanced out the window into the blackness of space. Every hour of every day the view looked the same. Having spent half her life traveling to a lush planet in another galaxy, Hoshni recalled little else. She would be 15 by the time they arrived at their new home. After class, Hoshni and Jerry raced straight to Deck C and entered one of the 3D rooms that could create any scene a person imagined. Jerry excitedly pressed some buttons and called out, "Computer, run the program Old Earth School on a Big Hill. Make it look real." The bare room instantly changed into an old-fashioned classroom with a dusty blackboard mounted behind an old wooden desk. Sunlight from large windows filled the dusty air. As Hoshni and Jerry looked outside, they could see white clouds, blue sky, flowering trees, green grass, and a playground. They politely asked their human teacher, "Mrs. Ryan, may we go outside for recess?" If only this were real, Jerry, Hoshni said wistfully. Maybe sometime in the future, things truly will be this good. Okay, so let's look at question number 1. I'm going to go ahead and read the question, and then we're going to go back, and I'm going to let you look through for just another moment and decide the point of view. The question says this passage is told by third-person narrator, so it goes ahead and tells you that it's told from third person, okay? Then it asks the question. It says select 3 sentences that indicate the narrator is a third-person narrator, so you really don't need to go back to the text here. Okay, you should pause the video and go ahead and answer. Okay, guys, you have your answer and you've unpaused your video. Look at choice A. Which one you're looking for 3 that say that the narrator is in third person? A. Hoshni stared at the clock over a panel in the spaceship. Okay, I'm going to put a green by the A because it calls her by her first name. So I'm thinking that could be one of my choices. Look at B. Incredibly exciting, the game made space-time seem to pass much faster. That does not show me anything that indicates who is telling the story. Look at C. At least the new teacher, Vox 23, was more interesting than the last class A instructional robot. Okay, both times it calls them by their name. Vox 23 and class A instructional robot. So that could be one. Let's keep going. I know I got to select 3. D says, Hoshni glanced out the window in the blackness of space. Okay, I definitely think that's going to be one of mine again because it calls her by her name, or by his name. E says she would be 15 by the time they arrived at their new home. I think that's also going to be one of my choices because it says she, and it says they, and it says their, and those are all third-person words. F says the bare room instantly changed into an old-fashioned classroom with a dusty chalkboard behind a wooden desk. That does not show me our narrator. Okay, so I have eliminated the ones that I know it is not. Okay, and our choices on this one, you should have picked A, D, and E because they all give us third-person pronouns. Okay, look at question number 2. It says read paragraph 3. Okay, so I know that's the first thing I have to do. If the story were told in first person, which of the following would most likely be a part of the story? Well, before I even look, I'm going to go back to paragraph 3. It says Hoshni glanced out the window into the blackness of space. So maybe if it was first person, it might tell us what she felt when she saw that. Every hour of every day of the view looked the same. Maybe it tells us what she saw. Having spent half her life traveling to a lush planet in another galaxy, she recalled little else. Maybe she talks about how she doesn't remember anything except for life in outer space. She would be 15 by the time they arrived at her new house. That might tell us, she might tell us in first person how she felt. So let's look. It says A, Hoshni's thoughts and feelings about traveling through space. Yes, I think that's going to be our answer. But let's look at B, C, and D. Details about Hoshni and Jerry's actions, but not their point of view. Well, if it was first person, it would definitely give us their point of view. C, different ways multiple characters viewed the trip. Nope, that was just about Hoshni. And D, more information about the 3D rooms. That was not found in that paragraph. Okay. All right, look at question number 3. Okay, it asks us to compare the points of view. So that makes me immediately think Venn diagram of if only this were real and just a bunch of rocks and bones. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back. Let me make my Venn diagram. Okay, so if only this were real was told in third person. So I need to write that down. Okay, third person was the text, if only real. And that was told from third person, and it was about the 2 girls who were living in the spaceship wishing that they were living in times like what we have today. Really even back in time even further. Now, just a bunch of rocks and bones was that first text about the boy who's going on his field trip. And we said that it was told from first person point of view. So let's write that down. So the first person about rocks and bones was told by the kid going on the field trip. So, compare the points of view of the narrators in the two. Okay? Well, I know that in Rocks and Bones, we know that LeBron is the character. LeBron's telling the story. And that we know that he is a character. Okay? He uses words like I, me, and my. We know that in the italics, those little slanted words, we saw his feelings and his thoughts. We were also able to see more detail. Like when he talks about things, he was able to be more descriptive because he's experiencing it himself. Okay? Now, if only this were real, we know that that narrator was outside of the story. They were not a character in our story. We know that they were just stating facts. No thoughts. We know that it was less detailed. And we know that they used words like he, she, their. Okay. All right. Great job, guys. Okay. Anything that they have in common? The only thing I can think of is that they both told an account of a story. But even those two stories were different. Okay. All right. Look at this writing prompt. And this is the one that we're going to be working on together. Today we're just going to do the do what. And then on Thursday we're going to plan. And Friday you're going to look at my finished essay. All right. So let's go ahead and think and highlight our verbs. Use the information from your discussion and diagram to compare the points of view of the narrators in these two. Use at least one detail from each text to support your response. Okay? And then that last one is just telling you where to write it. Okay, so let's go ahead and write on here what our verbs are. I've got use, compare, use again, and support. Okay, the first one, what am I supposed to use? The information from that Venn diagram that we just did. Okay. All right. What am I supposed to compare? The point of view of the narrators. Okay. Then it says to use what? Use details from each text to support what? To support my response. Okay. So what we are going to do is we need to go ahead and decide before we move on, because Thursday we're going to be putting it on a RACES chart, is what type of writing is this? And it is informative, because we know that to compare, that makes us think of compare and contrast, which we know is an informational skill. Okay. And let's see. I'm looking to see. It says also to use information. That's another hint that it's informational. So we know the strategy that we're going to be using on Thursday is RACES. Okay. And we're going to have to think a little bit harder on this one as to how that would fit in RACES. Okay. All right. Your quiz for tomorrow, or for today, on first and third point of view is on Mastery Connect. And here are your codes. I hope you have a great day, and you'll hear from me on Thursday.